Hi everyone.
Hi
Hi
everyone.
Claire.
Hi.
Please let us know if you can hear us and see us okay.
Do you want them to raise a hand or just
Yeah,
comment?
if you can just click raise a hand or
Attendees. Oh, they're raising hands. I see that. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Carlos.
great
Thanks,
guys.
Diana. Okay.
So
Yeah,
I think we can start.
awesome.
Um,
Let's do
yep,
this.
let's
Do
do
you
this.
want to start, Annie?
Yes, so first of all guys, welcome to our pre-arrival webinar, and my name is Henny and I'm working out of Fredericton, and Claire has recently moved to.
Moncton. So this is the first time we're doing it, simultaneous live cast from two different cities. So yeah, I'm here in mostly sunny Moncton.
Yep. I just want to apologize, guys, because we might have experienced some technical issues because we're doing it the first time. I hope we're not going to, but just in case if something go wrong, I want to apologize in advance.
We got this.
Yep.
It's okay. So just a reminder of who we are. I'm the International Immigration Advisor. So anything immigration related, you've hopefully been receiving from me. And
My name is Hani Kamal, and I'm International Affairs Coordinator at NBCC. And everything that academic related, you can reach to me. And if you have any questions, you probably saw me in webinars from our live Facebook page. If not, I'm glad to meet you here. And we just very exciting, guys, that you've been accepted and you coming to study to Canada. And I know it's very exciting and challenging time at this and very challenging time, but we're here to help you. And congratulations on your acceptance. And it's a great page in your life to come and study in Canada at NBCC. We work hard here to prepare for your arrival. And the reason why we are going to have these webinars is because we want to provide you some information in advance. And
and I want to congratulate all of those students who have received their study permits and visas. So,
yes,
yeah, congratulations to all of you who have received that. That's awesome to hear. If you have received it, or if you've been refused, please email international@nbcc.ca. We are updating that, updating your file, and that's really important for us to know how many have been accepted or refused. And we're going to talk a bit more about that in a moment.
yep.
So Henny.
So I just want to start with reminders for you guys who've been accepted conditionally to NBCC. Please provide us your English proficiency test by July 15th. It's the deadline. If you've been accepted conditionally and you would need to provide your transcript or your English proficiency test, please do so by July 15th. You can message your English proficiency test to international at NBCC, and our admission team will get back to you. And do you have anything from your side to remind our students?
Yes. So, as I just said, a couple words on study permits. So as I said, hopefully people, all students have applied for their study permits by now. But I know that a lot of you haven't yet. But as we say, every webinar, apply as soon as possible because the processing times, if you check the IRCC website, are getting longer and longer. So, so a reminder that today in our follow-up email, I will be sending out those PDFs on how to apply for a study permit to give you any helpful advice on that if you haven't applied yet. I'll also be adding a document which is a letter to further explain the on-the-job training at NBCC. So that's an extra letter to explain that like a work practicum or co-op or on-the-job training is part of your program at NBCC to make sure you get a separate work permit. So if you've already applied for a study permit and you've already received your study permit, that's great. So you've already got it without this extra letter. But for those who haven't applied yet, this will be a nice addition. Or for those who it's an extra document you can bring to the border with you, so that hopefully they could issue it at the border. So I'm going to add that letter. And I know that a lot of students have been emailing me about their visa refusals and given me the reasons, and I've been trying to email back one-on-one. But there are a lot of students out there, and so in this follow-up email today, I'm also going to write a list, have a document of the list of the reasons of refusal that IRCC might have given you. And if you're wanting to reapply, which I hope you do, like some advice on what you could do to improve your second application. So yeah, lots of documents coming from me today. So how to apply for your study permit, that extra on-the-job training letter, and the visa refusal list. So yes, and
So
that's, and of
Claire
course,
might
yeah.
spam you a lot today.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's all in one email. So it's really important that you check our follow-up email today, because it will include all of those documents. And yes, as mentioned, just continue to email international@nbcc.ca with your visa updates. I had that here too. So
Yes.
yeah.
So
Okay.
please let us know about your study permit so we can update your file.
Mhm.
And just want to give you a little bit overview of this webinar. So this is our first pre-arrival webinar for accepted students. And today we just want to, provide you information about the future webinars and some useful information. So this specific webinar is going to be in regards to your questions. So if you have any questions, you can post it now, and we'll get back to you to this question a little bit later. And we plan for pre-arrival webinar during the month of July, and we are going to have another 4 webinars during August. In this webinar, we're going to cover questions about health system in Canada, insurance, academic integrity, and much more. I will invite different guests for different webinars, so you will have chance to hear from our instructors, from NBCC graduates, from insurance representatives. So I hope it's going to be helpful for you. And there is a TLC, ITLC coming, and orientation. I think Claire can share a few words about this.
Yep. So as Henny mentioned, so July and August, every single Thursday, we're going to have different webinars. So that will hopefully help you prepare to arrive before you come to Canada. But as of course, like there's a lot that you might not know or understand or feel ready to talk about until you're actually in Canada, right?
Yep.
So on Thursday, it's perfect that it's a Thursday actually. Thursday, August 29th, is the ITLC. So ITLC is International Transition to Life in College, right? So because NBCC runs every year Transition to Life at College, so TLC. This is the first year we're running an international version of transitioning to life in college. So it's a full day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. So a full day on each of our campuses, run by NBCC staff to cover topics, again, like health insurance and academics and money matters and community connections. So a lot of similar topics that we're covering in these webinars, but in person here in Canada on the NBCC campuses. So it's really important that students attend those, but it's going to be limited to 60 students per campus. So if you're unable to attend the ITLC, that one day ITLC, each topic is going to be covered over a 1 hour lunch hour in September. So don't worry if you're unable to attend that first day, August 29th, then you'll be able to attend the ones if every week. But it's really important that you attend all of these sessions so that you really do understand, as I said, like as we talked about, health insurance and academics at NBCC and money matters and community connections. So, and there will be an immigration one too. So of course, don't miss that one. But also, we're going to give you an incentive. So the student staff here has come up with the idea of giving everyone a passport, and if you attend each session, you'll be entered to win a prize. So yeah, so I think some NBC swag. So I think that will help sweeten the deal. Yeah. So that's ITLC. Okay. So stay tuned for more details on that. The registration is not up yet, but stay tuned.
Yep. Thank you, Claire, for updates. And a lot of students ask me about the orientation, and ITLC is orientation. We just call it transition to college life. So if you're looking for orientation session, it would be on August 29th for international students. So before we go to the question section, I just want to go through some steps. You've been accepted, and a lot of students wondering what's next. And the next would be registration for your program. You will receive email on August 12th, and this email would in this email you would you will be provided with a link. You just need to register. It's very important. So you can go and register, and basically when you register for program, you tell NBCC that you are coming and you're going to start study in fall. So please check your emails, and the registration link will be available on August 12th. You will receive it via email.
Yeah,
of course,
still about a month away. Yeah.
Yes. So you, of course, there is also things like you need to take in account, like book your tickets, guys, and looking for place to stay. Start earlier, and we're going to have additional webinar in regards to entry to Canada, what kind of documents you might need, what documents you need, what you need to present to immigration officer at the border. And we're going to have another webinar in regards specifically to the housing. So we'll touch basic in our next webinar, but that's, I think, need to focus on right now is looking, just look for housing, book your tickets, and register for the program. That is 3 important steps. It's that's what I have from my side. Claire, do you have anything from immigration perspectives? Students been accepted, they get the study permit. There anything else? Is there anything else?
Well, as mentioned, that's going to come in our next webinar, right?
Yep.
Is entry to Canada.
Yes.
So stay tuned. So I do hope everyone's able to attend next week's webinar. If you're not able to attend, then of course you can watch the video recording of this webinar next week. So that will be some helpful information next week.
Yep. And I think we can start to answer some of your questions that you have, just to get feeling what you are most interested in, what's your concern. So we might, prepare future topics in August and take in account your...
Exactly. This session's gonna be very helpful to hear your questions and see if there's anything that maybe other students have the same questions. So we'll include it in future presentations. So yeah.
Okay. So let's switch to the question section.
Yeah. And now we've finally figured out how we can best see our questions, which is very helpful. So quick YouTube search. Good job, Hanny.
Yeah, YouTube makes magic. Yep. Okay. And the first question I hear, it's I can hear you, I can see you. That's
Thanks,
great.
Juan Carlos. Thanks, Cristiano. Yeah. Awesome.
I'm glad that we just don't talk to ourselves, so students can hear us and see us.
Yep.
And first question, what to do if we want on-campus part-time jobs once a normally college life starts? So there is a there is a few job opportunities available at the campus. All you need to do, just look when you arrive, just go to Student Success Center and ask for job availability, because at every campus we have a Student Success Center, and if you have any questions in regards to academic, finance, or any other, you can go and our staff will provide you assistance in this regard. So if you're looking for on-campus job, it's great. Just go and check Student Success Center. There's a few availabilities, and apply and hope you're gonna get the job. Do you
Yeah,
have
and
any advices, Claire?
yeah, of course. You know, people always ask us about working in Canada. And
Oh yeah,
so
oh yeah.
a few things to mention there. So one thing is you can work in Canada, but you can't start working until you've started classes, right? So if you arrive even in July or August, it's great. Welcome to Canada, but you can't start working yet. So, but once, as you said, Priyanka, so once you've started classes and you're settling into life in college, then yes, you can start working. You can actually work on campus an unlimited number of hours if you're able to. That there's no maximum there, but off campus is 20 hours per week. Okay, and so yeah, so you'll start life at NBCC. You can go get your social insurance number, and then start working for any employer. So we'll cover that for sure in the ITLC. Yeah, about
Yeah.
working. But good question.
Yeah, and social insurance number you could get at the airport if you have enough time, or you can get it at the Service Canada, as
Do
far
they
as I
do that
remember.
at the airport?
I got my
Really?
social insurance number in the International Airport of Toronto. If you have
I
enough
think
time between your flights, you can get it there. Or, I mean, if you're stressed and it's been a long flight, you can get
yeah,
it
just
at
do
the
it here.
Canada Service. Yep,
Just I didn't know that. That's really interesting. Okay,
yep,
thanks for the
yep.
question, Priyanka. Okay,
Um, Recently, my visa application has been accepted.
great.
Congratulations on getting
Congratulations.
study permit. So, would there anything else to do? Um, I need to do. I mean, as I mentioned before, all you need to do just register for your program, and you will receive email with link that invites you to for the registration in your program. It will be August 12th, and just book your tickets. Just look for place to stay, and stay tuned for our webinars. We're going to go step by step and explain you how housing works, how
Mhm.
what documents you need to bring when you enter Canada, insurance and all that. So
Yeah, and I would add to that. So if you've received your visa, right? So that's the sticker in your passport. So that's a
yep,
shiny sticker. And then you would have also received a piece of paper, which is a letter of introduction from IRCC, and that says that you will receive your study permit when you come to the Canadian border. Okay, so in terms of immigration, yeah, those are the two very important pieces: your visa and your papers to turn into a study permit. But yeah, as Henny said, just make sure that you're booking your tickets, you're planning for accommodation, and you're registering for courses in August. But something else I'm also going to send is on NBCC we have a page called "I'm accepted. Now what?" And so
yep.
this actually has a list of 10 things to help you prepare. So I'm gonna send that as a response in that link to Meta. So I'm sending this to all, I think.
Yeah, I
Does
think
everyone
you
see
just can
that?
send it to all. And I posted on our Facebook international page the
Right.
steps. So yep,
So yeah, if you type nbcc.ca, if you search for "I'm accepted, now what?" then it has some helpful full tips there. So yeah. But I think
uh,
as mentioned, we will be covering a lot of these next steps in the pre-arrival webinars coming up.
yep. And
Okay,
I,
good
I
question.
think next question for you, Claire.
Oh, okay. Oh, and what is it?
Claire,
So,
is there any step-by-step guide for us?
so
Uh,
first get social insurance number, next go for a bank account, third find an apartment, fourth for apply for your health insurance. So, I mean, this is awesome, and I think this is for Hanny and I because
Yep.
we're both helping you prepare
Yeah.
to arrive in Canada. As as I actually, so I'm newer to NBCC than Hanny is, but as a team, I think we're bringing a great addition to NBCC international students. So I think that's a really good idea. I've been mostly creating step by step immigration documents, but I think Lucas, this is a really good idea that we're doing this by pre-arrivals, but I think just a simple step-by-step guide, similar to what is on the NBCC website for Canadian students. I think that's a really good idea. So, as far as I know, we don't have one yet. Henny, do we have?
No,
No,
we did not have. Yeah, we're going
no.
to work
But
on it.
I think that's
Yep.
a really good idea. So Lucas, I've got my notebook out.
Yep.
We're gonna write that out. So that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
So,
And just to your question, Lucas, get your SIN number is the first thing. I mean, because first of all, you need to register, then you need to book your flight, come to Canada, and go through the border. Then you need to get your SIN number. You can
mhm,
look for a place to stay. You can go and open a bank account, and you can apply for free health insurance as just one as a reminder for you guys. Starting from 2017, the government of New Brunswick provides free health insurance for international students, but you would need to apply for that, and you can apply it at Service New Brunswick. However, it's mandatory for students who come to Canada to have uh, insurance already, so you would need to have garden insurance for at least for the fall term from September to January. And the reason why, because if something happened, let's say in airport, you would need to be covered with
mhm.
insurance. And as soon as you applied and you're gonna receive a free health Medicare, you would not need to pay for, for winter intake, for winter fall, or you don't need to pay if you come for 2 years, you don't need to pay for three terms. So yep.
So I would actually just, Lucas, because you gave us four examples there, four steps, we could put those in order for you. So as Hanny's mentioning, you will need health insurance even before you enter Canada because you'll want to be covered the entire time you're in Canada. So under the NBCC tuition and fees, you'll see like GuardMe is part of it, right? So
Yes.
that's our insurance. So you can be doing that now. You could pay for that now. Also, finding an apartment is also something we're going to be talking about housing in 2 weeks. That's our
Yes.
third webinar. That's also something we're going to talk about for a full hour about the importance of trying to find that now before you arrive.
Yep.
So yeah, health insurance and finding an apartment are two things you can do now. And then yeah, as soon as you arrive, as Hanny mentioned, at the airport, you can get your social insurance number, or the first week you are here in New Brunswick, you can get your social insurance number, and then with that, yeah, start up a bank account. So, and simultaneously, you don't actually need a social insurance number to set up a bank account. I used to work with exchange students, and they didn't have social insurance numbers, but they still set up bank accounts. So yeah, sound good?
Yep.
Yeah, but
Um,
the step-by-step guide, I really like that. So, all right, thanks, Lucas.
uh, I just have another question about uh, when is the last date? It comes from Anthony, and he said that he would need to do some additional medical results, medical test, and about the last day when he can join the class. And the
Um,
last day of the class would be September 13. If you not
yes.
gonna make it before it, you would need to defer your acceptance for the next intake, because unfortunately September 13th is the last day when you can join the class. I hope this answers your question.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate if your medical is the 12th, because yeah, as Hanny's mentioning, September the 13th is the absolute date, final
Yes.
date that any
We want you to
student
come
can,
earlier. Yeah.
yeah, and it's the final date that any student can start classes, so that's Canadian or international students. But I think from our side, we would recommend international students actually arriving at least 1 week before classes start so that you can get settled a bit, because compared to Canadian students, international students have a lot more to settle into, right? So different country, different climate, different culture. So of course, you can arrive right up until the 13th. It will just feel a bit more rushed. So if you're able to plan to come before then, before the week of classes, then yeah. But to answer your question, last day, September 13th, or defer to January or to September 2020. Okay, got next. Okay, good
Yeah.
morning from Janarthan.
Good morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
And when is the
and
earliest date to pay tuition fees before commencement
yeah,
of classes, Henny?
I just sent the link link to the payment option page where you can check the payment options available, and you can pay, basically you can pay wherever you want, wherever you feel comfortable, and you may pay for you can pay by semester, or you can pay for 1 year, or you can pay for 2 years, and we don't have um, it's up to you. When you feel comfortable, you can pay as soon as possible, but the only, I would say, important date, the last due date is September 4th is due date for your tuition fee. So if you're planning to come to Canada, you would need to pay the deadline for
September
tuition.
6th.
Oh, sorry,
September 6th.
September
Yeah,
6th. Yeah.
Friday, September 6th is the last
Yes.
day to pay tuition.
Friday, September 6th is the last day when you can pay your tuition fees.
And I would say, from an immigration point of view, I do say that if you haven't applied for your study permit, paying for your tuition in advance can only help to show that you have financial assets. So you could pay for it now, and if you've been accepted, paying it in advance is also helpful. So, okay, great question, Alan. Hello,
Okay, another
Gregorio.
question comes: is there a way for students join this year to chat between each other? There is a lot of, as far as I know, unfortunately, I cannot disclose personal information with students. I cannot like connect students, but or at least provide information, because sometimes I receive questions: do you have students from particular countries? And we have students from all around the world, but I couldn't like disclose their information. As far as I know, there is NBCC groups at WhatsApp and Facebook, so you can check those. It's unofficial groups, but you can get in touch with the future students.
Also, some campuses have them.
Yep.
So yeah, and they're not necessarily international specific. Some are. We don't yet have an official, like, all NBCC international students yet. But yeah, there are student-led groups. So
Okay. Is airport pickup facilities available for international students? Unfortunately, we do not provide pickup facilities. Yep.
but we do have people greeting at the airports.
Yes, we do have people greetings, and we will provide some useful information, but unfortunately we don't have pickup facilities available for students.
Yeah,
So
so
that
no
would be,
driving, but yeah.
yeah, so that would be another point that we're going to discuss during our housing webinar, and what to do and what the solutions available.
So I think a couple of people asked about airport pickups. So that's, yeah. So we do have people greeting you at the airport if you
Yes.
arrive during a certain couple of days in August. But we don't actually have people driving you, just directions like to the transportation. Yeah. So
Should I buy a round trip ticket or just one-way ticket? I think you can buy just one-way ticket, because we don't have any requirements. I'm not sure about the immigration. I know that, yeah, if you come to visit, you might need to round ticket, but yeah, I don't know how it works, Claire.
yeah, it's not a requirement to have a round way ticket, because immigration does understand that you're coming to study for for a while. Like not everyone's expected to or can afford to go home at winter break or next summer break. If you're able to, then I think immigration likes to see that, because it does show that, okay, you're coming in and you'll leave and you'll come back. Like it shows you that you're going to follow the rules. But no, I don't think that is a reason that they could hold against you, because they, coming here to study for at least 8 months, you don't know when you're going to fly home to see the family. So I think that's okay if that's what you're asking about in terms of immigration. But if you, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Claire. Just another question about the facilities. We answered. We have already answered it. Unfortunately, we don't have facilities, but we have people who would greet you with a greeting. Someone who will welcome you in Canada, and we will have another webinar specifically for housing, and I will provide some useful tips for students who who come to Canada and they have no place to do or to stay. Sorry. Another question comes: what is the email to send the study permit updates? It's international@NBCC. I just answered your question. So please provide us your please provide us with status of your study permit, so we can update your file, and you can message us to international@nbcc.ca. Is there a day before we start classes where they introduce the campus to us, or is this happening the first day, Claire? Is there a day?
Yes, so it's August 29th. So yeah. Thursday, August 29th is when you'll have your International Transition Life to Canada, so ITLC. So registration isn't up yet, but stay tuned for those details. It's going to be a great day to introduce you to the campuses, to the supports available, to meet the staff. I think it's really important to attend that, or we'll have them. You'll start class if you missed the first orientation, ITLC, then you'll start classes and have a weekly orientation. Okay?
Yep, great. And I will just attach academic calendar, so with important dates. So if you guys haven't seen it yet, I will send it to all, and just check the important dates. Let's say August 12th is the date for your registration. TLC will happen on August 29th for international students, and the holidays and first day of class and due date, so you can check it in our academic calendar, and I attached the link for you. Greg here from Manila just got my visa today. Wow, congratulations, Greg. Just let us know via email about your study permit. Please include your student ID number, so we can update your status on.
That's really important, actually. Good point, Henny.
Yeah,
it's great when students email us and say, I got my visa, but they might not provide their name, and we just have their email, but the email might not be the same that we have in our system. So please provide your student ID number.
Yep, so we can update your file. And yeah, congratulations. See you soon in Canada.
Great. Good job, Greg. Okay. Is a tech bar available in our college? So, Henny, do you know if a tech bar is available?
I'm not sure. We're gonna have instructor and from NBCC, and we can direct this question to the instructor. Yep. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure about that.
Yeah. Anyway, so stay tuned. Good question. We'll write that down.
Yeah, great question. What time starts and finish the class for full-time administrative professional French second in Fredericton? Thank you. So we have usually schedules looks from 8:30 to 4, and you're gonna have a break at around 12 o'clock, and there is around 5 courses that you would predetermined courses that you would need to take at NBCC. So there is no like in university you can choose the courses you want. There is a predetermined courses, and it's from Monday to Friday from 8 to 4 with 1 hour of lunch break.
Yeah, each campus differs slightly, but that's a
Slightly, but
general,
yeah,
yeah,
is a
but
general, yeah.
generally that's, yeah. Okay, so Gregorio again. So any recommendations on how I can bring or transfer my funds to Canada? That's a really good question.
Yep,
Maybe Henny, because you've more recently come to a new country. I can think back to when I lived in Japan, and I
yep.
remember transferring funds between Canada and Japan. I don't know what's the best at this time.
So just few thoughts on this topic on my mind. So you can use your Visa, MasterCard in Canada as well, if you have credit or debit card from your home country, and it's Visa, MasterCard would be accepted all around the world, and you can use it here. Or there is a few partners banks, for example, like Scotia Bank. They have partners with local banks in your country. You would need to check it in maybe with your bank, if they have any partnership in Canada, and if they have, what kind of bank they use. Because let's say when I move, I found a bank in my home country that is partnership with Scotia Bank, and it allows you to pay lower fees and some options that not available in other banks. So that would be my best guess. And we're going to have another webinar where we can talk about this a little bit in more details.
Yeah, I think money is in August. So
Yes.
yeah, but yeah,
Yep.
good question though.
Yep.
Okay.
So just use first of all, use your MasterCard or Visa here in Canada, and check with your bank if they have partners with bank in Canada. If they don't, you can come and open an account here and just transfer your funds from your bank to Canadian bank.
Yeah, credit cards are a good backup. I don't want anyone to rack up interest rates or any debt or credit debt,
Yep.
but it's good to know that those work here. But yeah, I'd say check with your bank, see if they have partnerships. Yeah. So,
Uh,
hi guys, I've found an apartment and booked my ticket for August 3rd. Is
wow.
that too early to arrive? No, it's not. We've had students who have actually already arrived. August, I think, is a perfect amount of time. Just a reminder that you cannot start working until about a month later, like September. So for that month you won't be able to work, but yeah, it's a good way to settle into whichever community you're going to be studying in, and settling into your apartment, and anyways. So, and technically you can actually apply for your social insurance number. Like, you can get your social insurance number and even start looking for a job if you want. You just can't start working. But at that time, August 3rd, you won't have had a registration yet. Is that right, Hanny? You said August 12th is when registration is.
Yes.
So just ensure that you have as many documents as possible.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about that next week. So
Yes.
arrival into Canada. Yeah.
And from my side, you might need to buy pre-arrival insurance when you come to Canada, because all NBCC students are going to be covered from September 1st.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's where insurance take in effect. If you come earlier, I'm pretty sure a lot of students come earlier than September 1st, you would need to purchase pre-arrival insurance, and I will attach the link and send it to you. You can buy it via GuardMe. So if you buy an insurance, buy it only for August, because some students try to buy it from August to September, and it's invalid date. So make sure the last date of your insurance is August 31st, and from September you're going to be covered under regular insurance. Okay.
That's, yeah, really good points, and we'll cover that in the insurance one coming up.
Yes.
And maybe in the step-by-step guide. So good question.
How do I get the social insurance number at the airport? There is a services at the airport you can ask at the airport, and they will guide you. But please make sure you have enough time between your flights, because getting insurance, in my case, it took me around 45 minutes. So because there is a few people in line also waiting for social insurance number. So if you have like gap, let's say in 5 hours, I would advise you to do so. if it's like on the, because the Pearson Air International Airport, if you come in from through Toronto or Montreal, they're pretty large, so you need time to transfer from one port to another. So please take it in account. And yep, you can get it at the airport. Just ask, and staff will direct you.
Just make sure you if you get it at the airport, keep it with your important documents, because that number is very important. Yeah. So in case of a refusal of visa, which makes it impossible to resume with NBCC this session, can I be given the chance of deferral till September 2020 since I have paid the deposit fee?
Yes.
I was waiting for Hanny, because this is more of a Hanny question, but yeah.
And you just need to send the email, just send us a request, and please attach your study permit refusal. Send the request to international@nbcc and ask for your program deferral, and our admission team will get back to you, because they would need to check seats availability, but they will definitely defer your application if your study permit gets refused. And please attach your study permit with your request for deferral.
Yeah. Okay, good question. Okay, so another question for you. Yeah.
Just do you know what time is open the service for Sydney and Toronto airport? It's a good question. As far as I remember, I arrived around 10 or 11 o'clock at night and p.m. and they were open. I assume they might work 24 hours.
Oh, really?
I'm not 100% sure, but I came at 10:30 p.m. September 26th, and
oh my gosh,
and they provide me with social insurance number.
I was gonna say, I was assuming that it's like a 9 to 5 service, but you're there from 1 a.m. until 5 p.m. So I think it will definitely be open sometime from there. Yeah.
And if you're not able to get it at airports, it's not a big deal. You can just go to Canada Service here and get your social insurance number. So it's not, if you, let's say if you have like 5 hours of gap and you have nothing to do, you just can go and get the insurance and enjoy your first Tim Hortons cup of coffee.
Yeah. Okay, so how do I register at NBCC?
You will receive a link on August 12th, and please follow the link and instruction, and just pretty simple process. You just need to register, and by register, you're telling us basically that you're coming to study to NBCC.
Okay, since the students' union fee is mandatory, what does the student union do for students? That's a really good question.
It is.
Yeah, so I know from the university I used to work at, like in general, the student union is an advocate for all students. So it's really important that if there's something that NBCC students aren't necessarily happy with, the student union, you can bring that to the student union. They can speak on your behalf, and they bring that to the administration or to your instructors, or also getting better health insurance prices, or like they advocate for you. So that's what I know from the university side of things. I think it's similar at the college.
Yes,
I don't know if Kenny, you want to add something?
Yes, it is similar, but just make sure if you have some issues, just talk to our staff at campus. You don't have to bring it right away to union. Just talk to our student success center representative, student representative, and discuss this issue, because I think they will help you if you have any concerns. But that's what union does. It just advocates on your behalf. If
and they
there's
also
something
and there's also no, I'm just looking at, it's on the website. If you go into nbcc.ca and look up student union, there's a government that has president, vice president, all that. They run student events as well, so they're helping with TLC, so the orientation, and helps with graduation. They have seasonal events, winter and spring carnivals, fundraisers, community support and awareness events, social and sports events. So yeah, I think they do a lot. I know that our Moncton office is just downstairs, and it's always busy with students. So That's good.
Yep. I think next question is immigration related, Claire.
Okay. And sorry, Dhruv. I guess I mispronounced your name, and I still don't know if I'm pronouncing it correct, but maybe I called you Meta. So sorry, Dhruv. All right. So I am still waiting for my GIC to arrive, probably next week. Is it still safe to apply for a study permit on the 3rd week of July? I'll be applying on the SDS. So as you know, the SDS processing time is, last time I checked or posted about it, it was 20 calendar days. So so the 3rd week of July, that's, cutting it close, but it's still within the time frame that you'll be okay. So so yes, so Diana, you should still be okay. I would just say as soon as you make sure your other documents are all ready to go, and then you wait for your GIC, and as soon as it's ready, apply through SDS as soon as possible. But you should still be okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Claire. And another is what to say at immigration if they ask where are you going to stay. Haven't found any good accommodation from here. I'm thinking, well, I'm not sure if I can reference to myself.
Okay, yeah, go for
it. Because when I came here, I booked Airbnb for a week, just to stay and look for apartments, and I provide Airbnb address, and they accept it.
Yeah.
Because you would need to provide, and we're going to talk about this in our future webinar, because you would need to provide the address and where you're going to stay. So you might book, maybe a hotel, or maybe a room, or maybe Airbnb. Exactly. We're going to talk about this a little bit later in our future webinar. So you would need to book something and provide, the documents, or at least address where you're going to stay.
Yeah, no, totally. So doesn't matter if you don't have your apartment yet, you do need to have some sort of accommodation prepared before you enter Canada. Yeah.
Yep.
Good question.
Can you explain more about working campus, like what type of jobs you can get and how it all works side by side? So there is a few jobs opportunities, like you can work at cafeteria or any other jobs that available at the campus. It's just like general jobs, and you can apply if they available. But yep. Is there anything else you can add?
Well, yeah, so balancing studying and working. So it's a really, really important question that you bring up. And Henny and I have told everyone in our webinars, I think every time that we get, about how important it is to have enough, to budget enough without needing to work. I know that's not a reality for everyone, but it is essential for immigration to show that you have at least $10,000 plus tuition. So, yes. And the important reason for that is so that you are focusing on your studies. That is the number one reason why you're here. And so you should be budgeting life without having an extra job, because everyone handles studies and working differently. I know even for myself, like I did an undergrad and a master's and a college program, and at different times for those different programs I was able to have part-time jobs or not, depending on how intense my study was and what stage of life you're at. So so that's why don't plan on definitely working 20 hours a week until you know what your course load is like. Okay.
Yep.
Does that make sense? Okay.
It does.
Okay.
I've been accepted in mechanical engineer technology program at St. John campus, and I also get my visa. So my question is that, do we have to get immunization records? First of all, congratulations on your acceptance and your visa. See you soon here. We do not have requirements for immunization.
Unless it was required by IRCC before you applied? Yeah.
Yes, we at NBC, we do not have any requirements. And can you provide some information regarding whether can we apply for provincial health insurance or not? Yes, you can. However, in order to get this insurance, you need to apply, and it takes time. So at least for the fall term, you need to have your coverage under GuardMe. Yeah. And just give me a few seconds.
So we will explain that in the first, like at the orientation, ITLC, and we'll provide resources on how to apply for provincial healthcare. Because
Yep.
something else, when you're applying for healthcare, you do have to have an apartment, for example. You have to have a residence like in New Brunswick, so you can't just have like a hotel. So that's not something you can do until you arrive in Canada. So, but covering you for the first semester regardless, it's going to be GuardMe. I don't know what Henny
Yep.
is searching right now, but
I'm searching the link where you can when you can read the requirements and see what.
okay, the provincial
Yes.
healthcare.
Yep.
Okay,
Medicare now available for. Yeah, just
so
go
you can
into the.
search for that, and I'll go to the next question.
Yes, already found it.
Okay, so one of my friends came to Canada last week. Immigration officer didn't issue the study permit. Instead, officer gave her temporary study permit and said she needed to apply for study permit extension on December. Reason why she got a temporary permit is she didn't pay her tuition fee. My question, how do I pay my tuition fee before I arrive? And I need to know whether I have to pay full year fee or first semester fee. Please advise. I already booked my ticket on August 27th. And lastly, I'm planning to bring my family, my wife, my son, after I arrive, and I need to know whether she can get her open work permit at the port of entry. What are the documents she should carry in order to get her open work permit? Thanks so much. So, Janarthanan, that's a good question. Oh, yeah, okay. So Hanny's provided the tuition fee link there.
Yep.
The one thing I would say, because like, yeah, that's an unfortunate situation, and I just want everyone to know out there that yeah, the Canadian Border Services agents, excuse me, they. Oh, so next week we're gonna have entry to Canada, so we are gonna cover this in more detail. Um, they you can I think being prepared as possible and having paid as much as possible hopefully will help prevent a situation like that. So yeah, I heard a similar situation when someone arrived in April because and the semester doesn't start until September, and they only gave them a temporary one, said you have to reapply. So so the good news is that they let your friend in, they let this other person in April in, but they can put some conditions like that. So if you want to prevent that, then very smart of you to say, okay, let's pay tuition in advance. I'd say at least pay your first semester tuition.
Yep.
You're not required to pay your full year tuition. It's not an immigration requirement. But unfortunately, if your friend didn't show enough like valid assets, that could have been a requirement for your friend. So that's just the truth of it, that the CBSA agent has some discretion like that. So my advice is to, as you're doing, be as prepared as possible. So paying for a semester tuition is a good proof, like have that payment receipt. And so yeah, so you should be in August 27th. That's a perfect time to arrive. Like that's right on schedule. By that time, you'll also be registered with NBCC, so that will also help. And yes, your open work permit for your wife should be issued to you at the border. So yeah, so you should be set. Does that sound good, Henny? Anything to add? And Henny's provided the link. We would recommend paymytuition.com because it does have it's just a very easy to access
Yep.
system. So
And there is a lot of guides how to do it. There is a YouTube guide how you can pay, and yep, you can
okay,
pay via my
so
tuition. And I just answered another question about the orientation,
okay,
and I put
awesome.
the
August
link.
29th. And then
Yep.
another Toronto Airport question about the social insurance. I got that. Okay.
Yes, you
Oh,
can.
okay.
Yes,
What's
you
that?
can. No,
Yes.
just about there is a question about SIN at
Yep.
airport. Yeah, and yes, you can, but just make sure you have enough gap for this. If it's not a problem. You can apply here in New Brunswick as well.
Okay, so Claire and Henny, I already arrived in Moncton on May 22nd. Great. And have experienced all these steps that. Oh, Lucas is asking. Great. If you want, I could share my experience and help you make the steps. Okay, Raphael. please, yeah, please contact us. So either
Rafael, I will send you my contact information so you can
in a
get in
private
touch.
message.
And
Okay.
or you can go and see Claire at Moncton campus. I'm not
Yeah,
sure if she is
I'm here.
available or.
Yeah, yeah. I'm here on the Moncton campus. So just go into the reception and ask for me, and we could chat. That'd
And
be
just
really great. I would love
yeah,
that.
just send me email and maybe we can do the webinar together for the students, because I'm planning to do a webinar with NBCC graduates, with students who already graduated from NBCC who
Yeah,
come here study. But your experience would be very valuable, and yeah, if you
that's great.
can, yep, see Claire or you can send me email. Yep.
Yeah. And so Victor has booked his ticket for July 22nd. Do I need guard me until the classes start? So as Hanny just
Yes.
mentioned, yes, you have to book or you have to buy a separate health insurance until our Guard Me, like the one that's mandatory
September
for all
1st. Yep.
students, it starts September 1st. So from July 22nd until September 1st, you'll need to be covered by medical insurance. So whether that's Guard Me or another company that you know or use, okay?
Yep.
And and same with Alan. Social insurance beyond the mandatory Guard Me. So I think you mean health insurance, Alan, maybe. So I think maybe we're confusing social insurance number and health
Yep.
insurance coverage. So, yes. So I think you mean health insurance. Okay.
So yeah, I just want to clarify that you do
Yep.
not. So pre-arrival health insurance is mandatory. To get your social insurance number, it's not mandatory. You
Yeah.
can get
That's
it.
to work. Yeah.
Yeah, you can. It's just to work. So you're saying you don't need it for opening a bank account, right? You can open
No,
a bank.
actually, you don't. I mean, I would still go and get one maybe before you open a bank account. But as
Yes.
I said, I helped exchange students, and exchange students can't work, and so they didn't have a social insurance number. So I know for a fact that you can open one without a social insurance number. So,
Okay.
um, and okay, next question. I've paid first year tuition fees. Is my health insurance covered in this fee? Yes, starting September 1st. So as I'm glad that we're covering this, and we will cover it more in another webinar, I think in August, on health insurance. But anyone that's arriving before September 1st, it's mandatory to get pre-arrival insurance, and Hanny has provided a link for that.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And we're going to have a GuardMe representative, and she will explain you in details how the insurance work, what it covers, what's the difference, and all that stuff. It will be covered in August.
Okay.
About question about books and material. So you can purchase book at campus because we have bookstore at campus. You can also look for used one because some of the students, they sell their used book that they don't need, so you can save money. It's up to you, but there is if you want like just basically purchase books, you can buy it at campus, or you can
Great.
look for used online or among our students.
Okay. Okay, 1 month insurance from arriving to Canada. So I think that we've covered insurance. So Priyanka,
Yep.
I hope we've answered your question. Um, and so is it okay if I open my bank account in Toronto and then come to NBCC as I'm staying in
Yep.
Toronto for 5 days? Yeah, do that in Toronto.
It doesn't matter, guys.
Yeah.
It's because it's the same, basically, the same bank, just have different branches all around Canada and maybe US. So yeah,
Yeah, like
whatever.
the biggest ones in Canada, just the top of my head, would be Royal Bank, Scotiabank, Bank of Montreal, TD, Toronto Dominion. So like those are like the big four. So you can find
Yep.
those in a lot, like in almost every city. The one thing about opening it in Toronto, they might, well, I was gonna say you might need an address. I think you could probably put your uncle's address, but then change it afterwards. Or if you know your apartment already, then put that. But that's just
Yep.
the only thing. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Pinkal and Fernando. Hi, Henny and Claire. Thanks for the webinar. Can I pay Guard Me in advance? Coming to Canada July 30th. So I think we've covered that. So
Yep.
Henny's
And
provided you a
I
link. Yep.
just type. Yep.
Okay. And I think we'll do maybe two more questions because we're almost at 11 o'clock. So
Yes.
what do I need to do to have my acceptance deferred in case of visa refusal? So Henny.
Just send the request to international at NBCC and attach your study permit and ask our admission team to defer your application. I send you the link so you can message our admission team with your deferral request.
Okay. Is it required to pay tuition before entering Canada at the port of entry? Or yeah, as mentioned, it's not required, but it can help you. Yeah. So that's yeah, that's to answer that. And finally, last question. Yeah. I want to pay my tuition fee before I arrive. Great. My question is, could I pay my tuition fee $1,000 every day because my credit card allows only $1,000 per day? Yeah, I think that's allowed. As far as I know, they accept any amount on your account at a time. Is that correct, Henny?
Yes, there is a few options how you can pay, and if it's 1,000 per day, you can definitely do this. We do not offer like installments, so you can pay per week. But if you can pay 1,000 per day, you should be good. Yep.
And I'm gonna answer one last question because this is actually pretty important, but we are gonna cover this in future webinars. I'll arrive in St. John quite early with 2 daughters. When should I come to school for registration? So I just want to clarify that registration is actually going to be something that is online, right? Right, Henny? So, and it won't actually come out until about August 12th. So if you're coming August 4th, it won't be available yet. So you'll just have to make sure you have enough documents with you when you come in August 4th, but we're going to talk about that next week. All right. Yep. I think that's the perfect way to end.
Yes, I think I just read through the question, and I think there is a lot of questions that students just repeat and we didn't get to them. I hope this will help you with your question, and if you want to talk to us, just message us at Facebook International, NBCC International, and we'll get back to you via Messenger. Guys, really exciting that you come in. It's going to be fun time, and thank you for watching, and thank you for interest, and see you next week on Thursday at 10 a.m. You can check the schedule in our email.
Same time.
Yep.
All right.
See ya.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.